And welcome back to Subculture After Dark. Well, there is an album out at the moment that I am absolutely impressed by. It is the debut album by a music project called My Dearest Wound. The album is called The Burial, and we actually thought we would get the man behind My Dearest Wound, Sergio, on the phone right now to chat about this amazing album. So welcome to the program, mate.
Hey Dave, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
No problem. Now, mate, this is a hauntingly kind of dark album, but it's so beautiful. Tell us a little bit about your project, My Dearest Wound, and how this all started.
Yeah, I like that description that you had. It was actually what I was aiming to do. This is a project that it's depressive, right? Depressive black metal. It's one of it's the third project I have. I actually do a lot of music. I have a couple of other bands. One is called Rise to the Sky, which does death doom. Then I have Winds of Tragedy, which is black death metal. And this one is My Dearest Wound, which has like a different purpose. It's more depressive, it's more sentimental in a way, but it's also quite dark. And it's really connected to those, I would say, deepest feelings that people have. So that was kind of like the aim of this project. So that's actually a really good description. Something dark, but at the same time beautiful because it's really connected with all of those human feelings.
Tell us a little bit about your songwriting process, because I think that is one of the things that really hit me with this album was how well you tap into human emotion, and it takes you back to times when you've felt that emotion when you're listening to the different tracks. What is your songwriting process like?
Yeah, so I would say it's quite straightforward. It comes a lot from the gut, I would say. It's just things I like to hear. So I, I listen to the music I do a lot. So, for instance, there are some points where I'm feeling a little bit more angry or aggressive. Then I would try to do some type of sound or rhythm that reflects that mood, and then it kind of like flows naturally. At the same time, I always try to use a lot of melody in my music, so that's something that I always try to put in there in some way. And then it's just, I would say, maybe a basis that I have on the core sound that I want, and then I just add different layers to the music. But yeah, it's quite a straightforward process, and it's a lot from the gut. I mean, from feeling, from what I want to hear at that time and how I feel at that moment.
What was the recording process like? Did you head into a studio or did you record at home? What was that process like?
Well, I do everything from my home studio.
Yep.
I have a really good equipped home studio, so I record everything here, and that allows me to work a lot on music because I try to use every moment I have, every spare time I have, into composing and writing music. And I mean, when you're writing this type of music, you need to experiment a lot and record a lot, try things. I mean, yeah, it requires a lot of time and dedication. So the home studio is perfect to do that.
You also use a lot of extracts from movies and TV series in your music as well. Tell us a little bit about that. Where did that idea come from? And when do you know where to put the perfect film quote or the perfect grab from a TV series?
Yeah, it's great that you noticed that. This is something I wanted to do specifically for this album, since it has a lot of feeling, and I think one of the issues that I have with this type of topics that the album addresses, right? I mean, depression. Uh, Sometimes I talk about child abuse, self harm. I mean, those are things that people really don't express or talk about. But in my case, I found a lot of I could relate a lot to those topics by watching movies. So, for instance, there's some quotes from Manchester by the Sea where you see like a person that it's, I mean, through a very bad period of grief and that goes through many, stages of grief. Sometimes he also, I mean, suffers from tragedy in his life, and he at some point he wants. I don't want to spoil the movie, but he kind of like self harms or has self harm ideas.
Yeah.
So I mean, I could relate to some of those things, and I thought that they would fit well in the album, and that they reflect some of the ideas of the album. So that's why I wanted to put those quotes in there, and I think they fit really good.
They do. Are you a big film lover as well?
Yeah, I love films. I try to watch a lot of films, and yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of money on it. Now I realize I'm subscribed to everything, to all the platforms, and I try to watch a lot of stuff. Yeah, I find a lot of comfort in film, and yeah, you can learn a lot from watching films, I think.
Definitely.
Not all films, but some of them, yeah.
One of the things that actually hit me when I was listening to The Burial is that there's tracks on there that would be perfect for a movie soundtrack. Is that something that you've thought about doing as well, like doing a soundtrack for a movie?
That could be cool, a cool idea. I mean, I've thought about it. I love film, but I don't know how to make film. I could make a film score, and I've tried to do stuff like that, and maybe work with an artist. Actually, the artist from the cover of the album, she's called Natalia Drepina, and she's a photographer and a filmmaker. And I was talking to her maybe about the idea of making a short film, and I mean, she can shoot it and I can do the music, so maybe that's something that could happen in the future. I would love to do that. I mean, it's, yeah, something that I would really, really like to do.
Definitely. Sergio, now that the album is out, what's your next plan? Are you already starting to work on new music? Are you hoping to do some live shows? What's the next plans now?
Yeah, I'm focused a lot on composing and writing music, so there's definitely gonna be a second album. I think I wanna, I mean, change a few things, but the topics and the mood would be very similar, I think. I'm working on a concept. So I'm from Santiago, Chile, and in Santiago, Chile, let me just tell you a little bit about the concept I'm thinking about. There's a building which is the tallest in South America, but it also has another record. It's one of the buildings that has more suicide attempts I mean, ever. Right?
Yep.
There's been 25 suicides and more than 70 attempts in that building. And passed by there I would say almost every day.
Yep.
And I visited a lot, and yes, it's something that, I mean, you wouldn't imagine if you enter the building. It has a shopping mall. It's kind of like a weird thing. But I'm working on an album around that concept. I'm really interested in how can a person, I mean, reach that level where they would throw themselves in the middle of a shopping mall to die, right? I mean, it's something really extreme and also a statement. I don't know exactly what. I mean, to do it publicly, and yeah, it's something that I'm working on. But it's a topic that interests me, and I think it's something that not many people talk about. And I mean, we should talk more about those type of things, I think. I like to do it through music, at least.
Definitely. So have you got any live shows coming up as well, or is that something for the future?
I think for the future, because right now I'm so busy composing and writing music that doing a live show right now, I just don't have I think my energy is better spent writing music than performing at this moment. I would like to do maybe a video performance or something like that, which I could stream live. But live performances, I think it's more for the future, not right now.
Definitely. Well, Sergio, to finish off, what would you like to say to our listeners out there who are about to sit down and listen to The Burial as an album?
Well, first, thank you for, giving it a chance and listening to it. But I would say just try to see the album from a human perspective. I mean, every human is flawed. Every human has feelings. We've all been through very difficult stages in our lives. Everyone's fighting their own battle. And I think in this album, when you listen to it, you can relate to some of those things. And if I can reach out to you in an emotional way, or you can feel touched by this album in a way, or comforted by it, I would feel really, I mean, like I've done my job, and that's actually the purpose of the album. So try to listen to it with an open mind and an open heart, I would say. Yeah.